Take a moment and imagine this. You wake up in the same neighborhood as your neighbor. You both earn the same salary. You both work hard. And yet, years later, one of you is still trapped in bills and stress, while the other has built a life of choices and freedom. What changed? Not luck, not education, mindset. That's what this book is about. It's not about chasing money for money's sake. It's about learning to use money as a servant, not a master. It's about freedom. The freedom to choose how you spend your time, how you care for your family, and how you live your life. So if you're ready, let's begin. Introduction. When I was young, I noticed something strange. Two people could live in the same neighborhood, earn almost the same salary, and yet end up with completely different lives. One would always be broke, drowning in bills and debt. The other would slowly build security, own assets, and eventually gain freedom. The difference wasn't luck, it was mindset. This book is about those two mindsets. I grew up seeing both sides, one voice that told me to play it safe, and another that urged me to think differently. One believed in working hard for every dollar, the other in making dollars work for you. Through their lessons, and through my own mistakes and discoveries, I've learned that wealth isn't just about money. It's about freedom, and freedom begins with how you think. In these pages, I'll share stories, principles, and simple steps to help you change your relationship with money. Because once your mindset changes, your life will follow. Chapter 1. 2 Ways of Thinking About Money. When I was young, I noticed something strange. Two people could live in the same neighborhood, earn almost the same salary, and yet end up with completely different lives. One would always be broke, drowning in bills and debt. The other would slowly build security, own assets, and eventually gain freedom. The difference wasn't luck. It was mindset. I'll never forget this lesson. My own family carried 2 different ways of thinking about money. One person I admired, let's call him the careful dad, believed that money was fragile. He would say things like, "Go to school, get good grades, and find a safe job. Don't take risks, you might lose everything. We can't afford that." His voice always carried caution. He thought money was something you had to protect, something scarce. To him, money controlled people. Then there was another figure in my life, the bold dad. His voice was different. He taught me things I didn't hear in school. Money should work for you. The biggest risk is playing it too safe. Instead of saying, "I can't afford it," ask, "How can I afford it?" The bold dad saw money as a tool, not a master. He believed that wealth came from knowledge, courage, and choices, not just a paycheck. At first I was confused. 2 grown men, both intelligent, both hardworking, telling me opposite things. Who was right? The truth is, they both were, in their own way, but their mindsets led to different results. The careful dad lived a life of stability, but also of limitation. He worked hard, paid bills, and stayed safe, but he was never free. The bold dad made mistakes, lost money sometimes, but kept learning. Over time, he built freedom. Not just financial freedom, but freedom of choice. That's when I realized something powerful. Money is not the real teacher. Mindset is. The way you think about money will either chain you down or set you free. In this book, I want to show you what I learned from seeing both mindsets up close. Not theories from a classroom, but lessons from real life. Lessons that can help you break free from the cycle of working just to survive and step into a life where money becomes your servant, not your master. Because in the end, there are really only 2 ways of thinking about money. One keeps you running in circles. The other shows you the way out. Chapter 2. Work for money versus make money. Work for you. Most people grow up with the same plan drilled into their heads. Study hard, get good grades, find a safe job, and work until retirement. That plan sounds secure, and for many years I believed it. Until one day I looked around and realized people who worked the hardest often had the least freedom. They traded their time, their health, even their dreams, all for a paycheck that was gone as quickly as it came. That's when I understood the truth. There are 2 types of people in the world. Those who work for money. These are the people who wake up every morning and head to jobs they don't love just to keep the bills paid. They depend on that paycheck like oxygen. If it stops, their world collapses. They think of money as their boss. Money tells them when to wake up, where to be, how long to stay, and even when they're allowed to rest. Those who make money work for them. These people see money differently. To them, money is a tool, a worker, an employee that never sleeps. Instead of trading their time for every dollar, they build systems, investments, businesses, or skills that generate income whether they're awake or asleep. While one person says, "I can't, I don't have enough money," the other asks, "How can I make my money create more money?" Let me give you an example. A man I knew worked 40 years at the same company. He never missed a day, never complained. He lived paycheck to paycheck, and when retirement came, he had a small pension and Social Security. He was tired, worn down, and still worried about bills. Another man, with the same education and similar income, decided early on to buy one small rental property. It wasn't easy. He saved, sacrificed, and bought it. That little house produced a few $100s a month in rent. Then he bought another, and another. By the time he was 50, he didn't need his job anymore. His money was working for him, 2 men. Same opportunities, different choices. The difference wasn't luck. It was mindset. One believed in security through a paycheck. The other believed in freedom through assets. That's the shift I want you to make while reading this book.
Stop asking, what job pays the most?
Start asking, what can I build that will pay me even when I'm not working? Because here's the truth. If you only work for money, you'll always be tired. But if you make money work for you, you'll always have choices. And choices, not paychecks, are the real measure of wealth. Chapter 3. Assets and Liabilities, Made Simple. When I was younger, I thought being rich meant having nice things. A new car, a bigger house, fancy clothes. That's what I saw on TV, and that's what people around me celebrated. But over time, I noticed something strange. Many people who looked rich were actually drowning in debt. They had the car, the house, the gadgets, but behind closed doors, they were stressed, broke, and one paycheck away from collapse. That's when I learned one of the most important lessons of my life. The difference between being rich and being broke comes down to knowing the difference between an asset and a liability. Most schools don't teach this, but let me make it simple. Assets put money in your pocket. Liabilities take money out of your pocket. That's it. It's not about how something looks. It's about what it does. Let me tell you a story. I once knew 2 friends who each got a raise at work. One of them, excited, went out and bought a brand new car. Shiny, beautiful, the kind of car that makes neighbors jealous. But every month he had to pay a huge loan, plus higher insurance, plus gas. That car took money out of his pocket every single month. It was a liability. The other friend bought a small food cart with his raise. It wasn't glamorous, but every weekend he rented a spot at a local market and sold snacks. That cart brought money into his pocket every month. It was an asset. Fast forward 5 years. The first friend was still stuck in debt, worried about bills. The second friend owned 2 food carts, then a small cafe. His assets grew. His freedom grew. It's not about how much you earn. It's about how you use what you earn. Here's the trap. Most people mistake liabilities for assets. They think their house is an asset, but if the mortgage, taxes, and repairs are draining them, it's not helping them grow wealth. They think buying luxury clothes or the latest phone is an asset, but those things don't return a dime. Now, don't get me wrong. There's nothing wrong with having nice things. But if you want financial freedom, your first priority should be building assets. Things that keep paying you even when you sleep. Assets can be a small business, rental property, stocks or investments that pay dividends, even digital assets like books, courses, or content that earn you income. The rule is simple. Before you buy something, ask yourself, will this put money into my pocket or take money out? If it takes money out, it's a liability. If it puts money in, it's an asset. Most people spend their whole lives feeding liabilities. But the wealthy? They focus on feeding their assets. And here's the truth. You don't have to start big. Even a small asset, like that first food cart or your first $50 investment, can be the seed of freedom. Because assets are like trees. Plant them, water them, and they'll feed you for years to come. Chapter 4. The Education System and Money. When I was a child, I believed that school was the key to everything. Teachers told us, if you study hard, you'll get good grades. If you get good grades, you'll get into college. If you get into college, you'll get a good job. And if you get a good job, you'll have a good life. It sounded simple. It sounded safe. But as I grew older, I realized something shocking. School had prepared me to be a good employee, but it never prepared me to be financially free. Think about it. We spend years memorizing history dates, solving math equations, writing essays. But how many of us were ever taught how to invest in real estate, how to manage debt wisely, how to build a business, or even something as basic as how to do taxes? The truth is, most schools don't teach financial literacy, and it's not an accident. The system was designed during the industrial age, a time when the world needed obedient workers, not independent thinkers. The careful dad in my life always reminded me of this. He would say, get good grades, get a stable job, and don't take risks. That's exactly what the school system trained us for. Stability, security, following orders. But the bold dad in my life showed me another side. He said, school teaches you how to work for money, but it won't teach you how to make money work for you. That's something you have to learn yourself. He was right. I saw classmates graduate with honors, degrees hanging proudly on their walls. Yet many of them were buried in student loans, working long hours in jobs they didn't love, living paycheck to paycheck. Smart people, but trapped. On the other hand, I met people who barely passed school, who started businesses, learned skills outside the classroom, or studied money through books, mentors, and real-world experience. And they were the ones who built freedom. Don't misunderstand me. Education is important, but there are two types of education. Academic education, what schools teach. Reading, writing, math, science. Financial education, what life demands. How to create wealth, manage money, and build freedom. Most people only ever get the first type, and that's why they struggle. So here's the truth. If you want financial independence, you must re-educate yourself. You must learn the things school didn't teach you. Read books on money. Listen to mentors who've built wealth. Take courses, not for grades, but for growth. Surround yourself with people who think bigger. Because financial freedom doesn't come from a diploma. It comes from knowledge applied in the real world. And if you're willing to learn what schools never taught, you'll unlock a power that most people will never know. The power to live life on your terms. Chapter 5. The power of taking risks. Most of us are raised to fear risk. From childhood, we hear it over and over again. Be careful. Don't take chances. Play it safe. And for many years, I believed that. I thought safety was the goal. But then I watched something unfold in my own life. The people who feared risk the most often lived with the least security. It sounds strange, doesn't it? But let me tell you a story. Two men I knew both worked at the same factory. Both made decent money. One of them, James, saved every penny. He never took a risk. He avoided debt, avoided investments, avoided change. To him, safety meant staying the same. The other, Daniel, took a different path. He saved too, but instead of keeping his money locked away, he used it. He bought a small food truck. It wasn't perfect. Sometimes business was slow. Sometimes he worried. But over time, the truck grew into 2, then 3. Before long, Daniel quit the factory. His trucks made more than his old paycheck ever did. Now here's the twist. Years later, the factory shut down. James lost his job and had nothing to fall back on. Daniel's trucks, still running, still feeding his family. That's when I understood. Playing it safe is often the riskiest move of all, because when you avoid risk, you also avoid opportunity. The careful dad in my life used to say, don't take risks, you might lose everything. The bold dad told me, take risks wisely, because if you don't, you might never gain anything. The truth is, life is risky no matter what you do. There's risk in working a job. You can be fired. There's risk in starting a business. It can fail. There's risk in investing. Markets rise and fall. But here's the difference. When you take calculated risks, you have a chance to grow. When you avoid risks completely, you guarantee that nothing will change. I'm not saying you should gamble blindly. Risk without knowledge is just recklessness. But risk with preparation, that's the bridge to freedom. Every successful person I've ever met had to step out of their comfort zone. They started something uncertain. They faced fear. They risked failure. And because of that, they gained freedom that the safe path could never give them. Here's the question you must ask yourself. Do you want to live a life of small safety or big possibilities? The truth is, wealth doesn't come from staying safe. It comes from choosing courage over comfort, growth over fear, and sometimes, the biggest risk is never taking one at all. Chapter 6. Building Wealth. Step by Step. When people think of wealth, they often imagine a giant leap. Winning the lottery, starting a company that suddenly takes off, some magical moment when everything changes overnight. But here's the truth. Wealth is rarely built in a leap. It's built in steps. Small, steady steps that add up over time. Let me share a story. There was a young woman named Alicia. She worked at a grocery store, earning just enough to cover rent and bills. She used to say, "I'll never be rich. People like me just survive." One day, someone told her, "Don't focus on becoming rich overnight. Focus on building one brick at a time." So she started small. Her first step was simply saving $20 a week. It didn't feel like much, but it taught her discipline. Then she used those savings to start an online shop, selling handmade candles. The profits weren't huge at first, but she reinvested them. She kept going, brick by brick. 10 years later, Alicia owned a thriving candle business that shipped nationwide. What began with a single $20 habit grew into freedom. That's how wealth is built. Here are the steps anyone can take. Step 1. Control your spending. If every dollar you earn runs out of your pocket, you'll never build wealth. Track where your money goes. Cut what doesn't serve you. Every bit saved becomes fuel for your future. Step 2. Build assets, not liabilities. Remember the rule. Assets put money into your pocket. Liabilities take money out. Invest in things that grow or pay you back, not just things that look good. Step 3. Start small, but start now. Too many people wait for the perfect moment. They say, "I'll invest when I earn more," or "I'll start a business when I have extra time." The truth is, there's never a perfect moment. Begin with what you have, even if it's small. Step 4. Reinvest. Don't just spend. When your asset pays you, don't rush to buy new shoes or a flashy car. Reinvest it into something that creates more. Let your money grow, children. Little dollars that bring in more dollars. Step 5. Keep learning. Wealth is not just about money. It's about knowledge. Read, listen, learn from mentors. Every lesson adds another tool to your financial toolbox. I remember the bold dad once told me, "The difference between the poor and the wealthy isn't the money they start with. It's the choices they make daily. Wealth isn't luck. It isn't magic. It's discipline, patience, and small decisions repeated over years. So don't be discouraged if you're starting small. Everyone starts somewhere. The question isn't where you start, it's whether you start. Because if you take one step today and another tomorrow, before long you'll look back and realize those small steps carried you miles ahead. Chapter 7. Teaching the next generation. When I look back at my life, I realize something important. Money lessons don't just shape bank accounts, they shape generations. The careful dad in my life taught me to chase safety. His intentions were good, but his fears became mine. The bold dad taught me courage. His lessons helped me see that money wasn't just about survival, it was about freedom. And as I grew older, I understood. What we teach our children about money becomes their reality. Let me tell you a story. A boy I knew once asked his father, "Dad, are we rich or poor?" The father sighed and said, "Son, we're poor. Money doesn't grow on trees." The boy carried that belief for years. And when he became a man, he worked hard but always felt trapped. Always afraid of losing what little he had. Another child asked his father the same question. This father answered differently. "Son, we're not rich yet. But if we learn and work smart, we can be." That boy grew up believing wealth was possible, and because he believed, he built it. The difference? The words spoken into their hearts. Children learn about money not just from what we say, but from what we do. If we panic about bills, they inherit fear. If we argue about spending, they inherit stress. But if we show them how to save, invest, and give, they inherit wisdom. Here are 3 ways to pass on wealth, not just in money, but in mindset. Talk about money openly. Most families treat money like a secret, but secrecy breeds ignorance. Talk to your children about income, expenses, and investments. Let them see how money works. Let them practice, give them small amounts to manage. Teach them to divide it. One part for saving, one for investing, one for spending, one for giving. Habits formed young last a lifetime. Be the example. Children may ignore lectures, but they never ignore what you do. If they see you investing instead of wasting, learning instead of complaining, giving instead of hoarding, they will copy you. I'll never forget the words of the bold dad. He once told me, "True wealth isn't what you leave behind in the bank. It's what you leave behind in their minds." And he was right. Money can be spent or lost, but wisdom, mindset, and courage, those can last for generations. So teach your children not to chase paychecks, but to build assets. It's learning what schools never taught, and here's the truth. Anyone can start. It doesn't matter if you're young or old, rich or broke, educated or not. Wealth begins the moment you decide to change your thinking. Ask yourself, am I working for money? Or is money working for me? Look at your life. Am I buying liabilities or building assets? Look at your choices. Am I living in fear or choosing courage? Every step matters. Save a little, invest a little, learn a little. Pass it on to your children. Brick by brick, step by step, you will build not just wealth, but freedom. And when that day comes, you'll realize something powerful. It was never about the money. It was always about the life it allowed you to live. So start today. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Take one step now, however small, because the journey to freedom begins not with money in your pocket, but with courage in your mind. And remember this, money is temporary, but freedom is forever.